teams? I said, yeah, because I'm moving farther and further away from this thing now, right? Starting with the Hawks.
Wow, you named a whole lot of teams. E.
I can name all 30 of them, man, because I said, I don't like them. I don't like that one either. They're not going any place. They're not going to do anything, right? I said, look at Klay Thompson, right? You know, he's on his last legs. He better try. He's trying something different.
Off the court, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
in a way.
What you got there, Mr. Brown?
Well, I'm gonna just say this. You set a daunting task
Yes.
to come up with your top 10 all-time NBA players. That was daunting.
Yes.
And then it was so open-ended. I kept asking myself. I wrote down questions. I looked at stuff, and I developed some criteria. I said, okay, this is what I need to do to try to nail this down, because you're talking thousands of people and you're only wanting 10.
Right.
So you caused me to look real deep into the process. That, like I tell people, I am now a retired person that chase golf balls and work around the house. I haven't been on my computer in about 2 weeks since the guys called me up and say, hey, man, I sent you something. I said, ooh, okay, let me go in here and check and see. But if you don't mind,
Yes,
I'm going
sir.
to see if we can come to some sort of amicable agreement. So this is what I came up with, okay?
All right.
I was curious about what factors would you use to determine the top 10, all right? And one of the factors I came up with, everybody sort of with, is the eye test, because you like what you see. Some people can do some things. Then I looked at recognition and awards, scoring championships,
Yes,
assist
sir.
leaders, all-star selections, etc. Then I
Okay.
looked at dominance, right? And then I looked at rings, finals MVPs, and so forth. I left Robert Horry off my list, but he was one of those guys that could have very well been, because of the amount of rings and things he had. But and then clutch in games. Who was clutch? Did they show up in the waning moments of a game to snatch a victory from an obvious defeat? And then I looked at longevity, an impact on the game. And so now here's what I don't have. Okay, I don't have Giannis, don't have Luka, I don't have Zion, I don't have Tatum, don't have Trey, I don't have Booker, who could have very easily made it. But when you talk about the top 10, to me, those guys have an opportunity to rise. So I can only look at my list from where I came. So I'm a 50s baby. I started watching basketball in the 60s, 70s, 80s. So what I did was I looked at periods of time and I took the best players, ignoring anybody from the 80s and 90s and thousands. I just completely ignored them. And it wasn't because they couldn't make the list, but you only gave me 10. So I had to be judicious with my selection. And finally, it came down to greatness is always chased. And what I mean by that is I set a record, and somebody's
Okay.
chasing to beat that record, to either score more points in the game, more rebounds, more assists, more championships. So that's what I was relegated to in making my selection. Now, Eric, I've talked a lot. I'm not going to share my selection right now, but I have them, and there's going to be some controversy.
I like that. And again, this is your list, right? I have my list. He's gonna have his. Anybody else that jump in is gonna have his, and then we can kind of compare and contrast a little bit and get to the a little bit of whys and what we think about each other's, and then maybe have some sort of consensus at some point. That's the beauty of it. But I do like what you said about, you explain like the errors that you're going to harp on, and why you didn't go beyond that particular era, whatever. I think you said 80s, where you didn't go past that, and but you've seen it all, so at least the majority of it, and so it's going to be a great perspective there, and that's what I like about this group here is like we're going to have various perspectives, and I'm gonna jot down, as we start, listing our guys. Um, I'm going to start doing that. So you did mention some things like some questions as to what the criteria is, and I left it open like that for a reason, and that is because I want to see why we get to whatever particular list we have, because that can open up somebody else's mind too. Is like, oh, you know what? I didn't think about that when I was thinking about my list. I was thinking about it from this way. Like for example, what did players accomplish in their career? Like, you may value MVPs more than somebody else did, or how they dominated their respective era, or who they went up against in their era, as compared to someone else. So we'll kind of get to that as it comes up. You got any opening statements, Eve, before we start diving into our list?
No, that was really good. I think both of you are very engaging, right? And I know that it's not an exact science, right? And I'm going to go back, as Mr. Brown would say, he's a 50s guy. He's been looking at it that long. I'm a 60s guy, and I can only go by, y'all make me think about something. And you know what? I didn't even know that we are going to do a top 10. That's why I told you, let me get a piece of paper right quick, right? and I got my piece of paper here right now. And, uh, I heard Mr. Brown mention that he's not going to put Robert Horry on there, right?
Yeah.
And so my thought to that was, I'm not going to put Dolph Shaves on there either, right? Or any of those other great players from that time. But I only know what I know. I can remember maybe 25 years ago, maybe 26 years ago, 25 years ago, when I got NBA TV. And then I just thought about this a few minutes ago, right? I just started looking at NBA TV. Probably it started coming on probably about 20, 25, 20, maybe 23, 24 years ago, I'm going to say that. And I would look at all those highlights, right, of old games, right? And I mean, I taped some of those NBA TV things, and I looked at them through the next 5 or 6 years, right? And I looked at all those old guys. I looked at the free throw lane. I looked at who was coaching, how many people were in the stands, and I thought about that Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game, right? How they were giving him the ball, and he was scoring. I looked at that lane that he played in at that time, and I learned a lot of stuff. Looking at Havlicek stealing the ball hitting the cord or some kind of rope hanging in the garden, right?
Yeah.
That to say this, and by the way, Mr. Brown, I don't have Charles Barkley on my top 10 either, right? So yeah. So, but I only know what I see. Probably who I've been around has an influence on that too, and having met some of these guys, and I think about the entire package, right? On the court, off the court, the old guys with the media, the not the media, how much the media play the influence in our psyche in everything that we do. Okay. But, I can't tell you a specific order. I would say, you could say Wilt Chamberlain could be the greatest of all time. You could say Bill Russell, right? You could also say, well, what about Michael Jordan? What about Kareem, right? So I can give you a roundabout list, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is near non-negotiable for me, right? Mike, talk about forwards, Tim Duncan, guards, Kobe Bryant, whatever he was, Shaq, uh, uh, LeBron. You got to put LeBron in there. Kareem. A lot of people say Kareem, #1 player for everything he's done. A lot of people say that. Magic Johnson, Oscar, big old Oscar Robertson. How many I've already said?
That's a decent number. Now these names that you're naming, are they in your? These are names in your top 10?
Right. Kobe,
Okay.
Shaq, LeBron, Mike, Magic, Bird, Oscar, Wilt,
Oscar, Wilt.
Duncan.
You said Jordan, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm gonna put Mike #1. If I had to get another #1, it would be Kareem, right? But it would never be Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, even though he's a game changer the way Tiger Woods was to golf, right? Yeah. And I'm gonna have Larry Bird in there somewhere. How many is that?
All right, so I'm gonna read these names off that you have in your grouping of 10. Okay, Kobe, Shaq, Magic, Bird, Oscar, Wilt, Jordan, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, Kareem.
How many is that?
That's 10 names.
Okay, and I'll roll with that right now.
Those are 10 that I know that you ran off. I was trying to think if I heard another name before I stopped you at that point.
Tim Duncan.
I got Duncan on here. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I said Duncan. Okay. Yep. And I don't know if that was 10 or what, man.
That's 10.
Okay, so 10. I said.
Okay, I'll read them back. Kobe and Shaq. Okay. That's 2 names. Kobe. I'm trying to pair them together a little bit, but Magic and Bird.
Okay, Magic. Okay.
Russell, Wilt, and Kareem.
Russell, Kareem,
and Wilt. So that's 7. Then you got Big O, Oscar Robertson. That's 8. Michael Jordan. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's 10.
Okay. All right. Okay, and that's off the top of my head.
Right.
Yeah, right. I didn't know we were doing this tonight, but I feel comfortable with that, right?
I mean, it's hard to argue those 10. I mean, those are great 10.
I feel comfortable with that. And I thought about Charles Barkley, and I left him off, and I put Bird over Charles Barkley.
I would put Bird over Barkley.
Okay, he's not.
Well, would you, Mr. Brown? If not, I'm not saying top 10 or not, but I'm just saying, would you take Bird over Barkley?
Absolutely.
Okay. So for you, E, and your 10, out of those 2 that you're thinking about, I agree, because I have Bird in my top 10.
Okay.
So just to let you know, here's some of the names I have in my top 10 compared to your top 10. Kobe, Magic, Bird, Wilt, Jordan, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, and Kareem. So we got a lot of the same in the top 10. I don't have Shaq in my top 10, and I don't have Oscar in my top 10. And between those 2, I really feel bad I don't have Oscar in my top 10, but I'll let you guys help me understand that. Because maybe somebody else has Oscar in their top 10 that's on this panel. I'll be curious to know that. So
I gotta have Oscar.
I'm waiting.
I gotta have Oscar in there because he won the championships, which is something that Mr. Brown alluded to when he put all his numbers together. I gotta have him in there because not only what he done to college, and see, I added the criteria of what those individuals meant to the sport.
Yeah.
Oscar formed the union, unprecedented, right?
Right.
He did. And he's still around now speaking of the things that he actually formulated this thing right here so guys can get paid like they should get paid, right? And
Right.
and with the numbers that he put up in his time, and his durability too, you know.
And, and
So
and you mentioned something there, E. And just like with the WNBA right now, and their players union and the players are speaking out about, pay what they pay us, what you owe us.
uh-huh.
And it was All-Star Weekend. They did the T-shirts. I remember there's a story out there about not just Oscar, but the guys in his era, right? I think it was the '69 All-Star game, maybe, or one of those years, where they threatened to not play in the All-Star game. Like they threatened not to really show up if certain things wasn't taken care of. And we can get into that later. But they actually were going to like not play. They wasn't just wearing a T-shirt or something like that. They were threatening not to even show up and play on ABC. And that would have that would have really, you know, that really would have damaged ABC and the league and everything if they didn't play. They stood up strong for that. So when you say Oscar delivered off the court with some things there, that's valuable too. He did win a championship with Kareem in the NBA. I believe that was 1970 or 71, right? Whatever when they paired up. So he did get a championship finally. Probably would have got more. Not sure about the help he had at the time. But before we go to you, Mr. Brown, I mentioned a lot of the same in my list that Mr. E had. We haven't getting into the orders or nothing like that yet. But the one I did have on my list that he didn't have. Let's see. We had I have Akeem Olajuwon in my top 10.
Oh boy.
Um, and I have, let's see, who's the other one? You said
Good choice.
LeBron. King. Yeah, I think the only one I didn't have, the one I had in my list that you didn't have in yours, you had Oscar, and I had a King instead of Oscar. So if you guys were to compare those two, what do you think there?
Oscar and Kareem. I
Well,
mean, Oscar and Elijah,
and Olajuwon, yeah,
two completely different positions.
yes,
Uh,
That's a head scratcher.
well,
Huh?
essentially, you're talking two different positions. You're
right.
talking contributions from a period of time that through evolution. Certainly, Elijah one is deserving, but when I go through my list, I got some head scratches for you. So I'm just waiting.
Okay. And you had Shaq on your list. I didn't have Shaq on my list, E. In my top 10 now.
Okay.
We both said, did you say LeBron?
I said LeBron. Yeah.
So,
I said
I didn't write down LeBron. So, real quick, who you taking off if LeBron's on your 10? Because I named 10 guys, but I didn't name LeBron. So, Shaq, I'm guessing between Shaq and, I don't know. You tell me, Oscar, Shaq.
I can't take Shaq off with 28 and maybe 13. 28 and 13, and I know what he did in the 90s, right?
Bird, Kobe, Oscar, Duncan.
Duncan 5 championships.
Yeah. I mean, to get LeBron on your top 10. I find it hard that you're going to take Wilt, Kareem, and Bill Russell off of there, and Jordan,
I'm
and
not
Magic.
I'm not taking. I never take off Mike. In fact, I got him as the number one. And again, a lot of this stuff is media generated. Okay.
Yeah, I noted him as one on your list. I got a note here that you said that.
Is media generated what they meant even before, like Kareem, what he did in high school, what he did in college, what he did in the NBA, how long he did it.
Yeah, he's great.
Got it. Oh my goodness. And that's what makes this thing interesting, right?
So we'll make a note. We're gonna make a note. I'm gonna put LeBron right on the outside on your particular list, and as we keep going, we'll figure out if he's gonna get crack into your team.
Okay. Okay.
But that, I mean, it's a tough 10. I mean,
Yeah.
whew. All right, back to you, Mr. Brown.
All right,
You
you
said
ready?
you had some head scratchers for us, in your opinion.
No, no. So this is what I did. If you look at my paper, right,
Okay.
I
Good
went
gracious.
through and I chronicled
Wait,
their
Is that a
wait,
new
careers,
thing?
did
the
you work?
highlights.
Did you work analytics or something?
Huh?
Did you work
No, I
analytics in the
just sat down
military?
and I read and I went through why they're number one. I went through the highlights of their careers and what
Yes, sir.
happened.
I
Right.
love this. Okay.
So from 1959 to 1973, my number one is Wilt Chamberlain. All right. And I can talk about some of his highlights. He played from 59 to 73 with the Philadelphia, went to Kansas, Overbrook High School, played for the Globetrotters. All right.
Right.
He was an intimidating presence in the middle of the paint. So people
Yeah.
go, well, yeah. But there are stories out there after he retired when he was playing a pickup game against Magic Johnson, James Worthy, AC Green, and all of those guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were playing at UCLA, and Wilt Chamberlain played with some nondescript freshman ball players. And at the end of the game, he blocked Magic's shot. And Larry Brown was sitting there. You can go listen, dig this up on YouTube. So Magic said it's a goaltending. Will said, no, it's not goaltending. He said, Coach, was that goaltending? Larry Brown said, no, that wasn't goaltending. Magic says, well, you know, he got some of your players out here, so you're going to agree with him. So Will say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run it back to 12. There'll be no scoring on this end. They beat him 12-0. Wilt shut him down. So this is when he was in his 40s, 50s. So that speaks to his abilities. Then my number two guy, who was born in Monroe, Louisiana in 34. He left his humble beginnings in Monroe and moved to California. That was Bill Russell. So he was
Yep.
All-American in high school, went to University of San Francisco, where he was an All-American,
Right.
Olympic gold medalist, NBA champion. All right, so that's my number two guy. I could go into detail. If you have questions, I can get with you on those. All right. Number three was Oscar Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar was born November 38. They called him the Big O. 6'5". And here's the kicker. This is why I selected him. He won the MVP. He averaged 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists. All right. So you got to look at that. 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists.
Mm.
And he did that for an entire season. So who chased him down? Westbrook. All right. Now.
Like 4 decades later, wasn't it?
Yeah. So who I'm up to what, 3?
Yeah. And this is your order, right? This is your order. Okay.
Yeah. The next was Jerry West. All right. Jerome Allen West. I don't know how they got Jerry out of Jerome, but he's the logo. He had a 14-year career with the Lakers. He was co-captain of the 60 Olympics, gold medal team. Then the guy went on and he was able to look at talent. I mean, you think about when Kobe came there.
Yeah.
It wasn't anybody but Jerry West said that's the guy we need to get. And this guy was in high school. And people thought he was crazy for selecting him. All right. I left off a bunch of guys. I left off Elgin Baylor. I left off Jerry Lucas. I'm trying to get to the heart of my selections.
All right, take your time.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. Take your time.
Yes, that's legitimate. The one thing that hurt me about Jerry West is he came across my mind. I flashed him out quickly. But think about this, what I said also to what Mr. Brown is saying. I looked at it from what the media has played all our
Mhm.
life, what we've been able to see. The thing about Jerry West is he lost too damn much in the championship, and he didn't get but one. But other than that, I agree, Mr. Brown, Jerry West, but he just lost too damn much, man. And the big
But
one.
so if that's a criteria, then you got to remove some other folks and put some other folks in because there are a bunch of losers on your list now. I'm just saying.
I don't
But,
think I have one guy out of
okay.
all those I mentioned that went to a championship that lost 7 or 8 championships. Did Shaq, Bird, Oscar,
How many championships did Jordan lose?
Mike?
He-
World championship, not to Detroit.
I just had
Yeah, that's my criteria.
Boston got him,
Not to Isaiah
Detroit
Thomas
got him,
in Detroit. Those are
Houston got him.
conference channels and all that. And
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm
right
gonna stay
there,
out of your
Isaiah
selection.
Francis, he never
Right.
lost to me. He never lost to me.
So next, the next
Isaiah
selection.
cut the pettiness. That's why he's not a top 10 player. That's why Curry is a better player than Isaiah Thomas. And I love
And that's purely that's purely spoken from that what you don't know. But I'm gonna move on. Then I go
Oh,
with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
so you got Kareem at 5 on your list. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Then I go with Alvin Hayes.
Oh, I got.
McGee.
All right.
Then I move on to Rick Barry.
Number
Wow.
24, only player to lead the ABA and the NBA in scoring, right?
Yeah. All right. So I go from Rick Barry. I go to Julius Erving.
Dr. J.
Julius, Dr. J.
Right.
Irving.
Then I move from Dr. J to Bill Walton.
Oh, and this is okay. Keep going. I'm gonna ask you about Bill.
Okay. Where am I at? How many do I have there?
That was 9.
Then I go with Dan Issel.
Wow. Okay. You did say it was gonna be some head scratchers. So, and I'm not saying head scratchers because I'm somebody who gonna be like, oh man, I ain't see him play or this or that. I just thought maybe some other guys, even within the same era, you might have had over them. So why is Issel in your top 10 all time?
Okay. Now, again, Dan Issel played in the ABA and the NBA.
Yes.
He won championships in both. All right. Dan Issel is what you're looking at when you look at the Joker nowadays.
Okay.
He could do it all. Assist, rebound, pass, and score. So I say that there was room to put the Joker on my list. But what I did was I looked at folks who made major contributions to the growth and development of the NBA. Then I looked at the eye test. I looked at the awards. I looked at, certainly I can go back and say LeBron, Shaq, but these guys are still in their infancy when it comes to the NBA. I looked at how did we get to where we are today? If you look at all my players,
yeah,
major contributors, like for example, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was one of the most reviled players in the history of the NBA because he was smart, he was principled, and like he told Avery Brundage, who was during the '68 Olympics, they tried to blackball him then because he said, "I'm not going to play for the United States with you as an avowed racist running the Olympic team." He said, "So you could just forget me." Then he was in with Jim Brown, Tommy Smith, John Carlos, Dr. Harry Edwards. There was a bunch of people that were trying to speak on behalf of our community to boycott the 68 Olympics. Because what people don't know, if you go back and you look at some history of the 68 Olympics, you'll find out that thousands of Mexicans died. They just bulldozed their village and pushed them in the ocean. People died to build the Olympic Village. And they're
Really?
saying it was inhumane and they were not going to participate. Thus, that's why Tommy Smith, John Carlos, Lee Evans, you watch them, they had on black socks, black gloves. Brundage kicked John Carlos and Tommy Smith out of the Olympics, told me, you got to go. Because
that's when they was at the podium. I think we and you Hot Tub talked about this one, right? Okay, yeah.
When they was at the podium, they was playing national anthem, they bowed their head and raised their fist. Today, people think that you should not be allowed to kneel when they play the national anthem. Well, my question to you, is that a law or a right? It's not a law because you can burn the flag. The Supreme Court has already said, hey, that's a symbol. You can't hold people accountable for a symbol because there's no law written that says desecrating the flag will constitute 7 years in prison or 5 years. It never was. So, again, you have to applaud those folks that stood on principle and stood up for their convictions and their beliefs. So, with that being said, Jabbar was one. Wilt Chamberlain was another one. He didn't bend to anybody's rules. He tell you in a minute, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna play basketball, but I'm not just gonna be your boy. You look at Oscar Robertson. So what I did was I looked at their NBA's career in its totality. One of the people that I struggled with was the Iceman. I wanted him on there so bad, but I kept saying, no, you can't do that because you like him, but you got to stay away from your likes and dislikes and just look at the list for the growth of the NBA, its totality, and the contributions and the awards they won and championships. Certainly, you wasn't going to win 4 or 5 back-to-back championships back in the day because you're going to get beat up. That's just the bottom line. But my list, and it's the way I said, I looked at the eye test. There's several things I looked at. And then I started writing little things about their careers. And I feel pretty good with the folks that I've selected. So,
I like your list.
I like your you go, Dan Issel,
I like your list. I like Dan Issel. The guy had his tooth all knocked down.
And you know Dan Issel.
He knew how to rough it up. I question though. You said he won 2 NBA. You said he won
one in the ABA and one in the NBA.
Did he win? Who did he win with in the ABA? Was it Denver?
Denver.
Okay.
They were in the. Denver was in the
ABA.
They one of the 4 that came over: Denver, San Antonio, Indiana, and the Nets. Right, those are the 4 that came over to the NBA: the Pacers, the Nets, the Nuggets, and the Spurs.
Okay, but Mr. Brown said he won ABA and NBA title. He made the All-Stars in the ABA and NBA. But I don't remember him winning 2 NBA titles. Now, I do agree.
He won with the ABA. I'm sorry.
Won the ABA.
They migrate. Yeah. Okay.
Right, and then they migrated to the NBA. So you got a championship, though.
And everybody on my list is in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Everybody.
Yeah.
There's not a person on this list that's not in the Hall of Fame.
And he was a good coach too to me.
And you got to put it in there now. That running game style could be like a preface that he was part of. Because like Mr. Brown said, he could shoot the 3 like the Joker. Don't think he could handle the ball like the Joker, but a legitimate passer. But he didn't have that many assists, such as what the Joker passed like that. But he
71. In
a
one
better
year, he scored over
Olympics
2,000 points.
how
Wow.
many?
In 1 year, he scored over 2,000 points. That was 71. So you got to think about that.
Oh yeah, he could knock down. He gonna get you 25, 27, 26 points.
Wow.
I remember watching him play. Yeah.
All right, so then let's see. And Dr. J, I think I'm glad you had him in your top 10. I think that's a player right there that he doesn't get the overarching, to me, the overarching flowers that he deserves. Dr. J. I mean, whatever people think of Mike, would you all agree that that was Dr. J before whatever everybody thought about Mike?
Similar.
Mm-mm.
Because we know
No.
Dr. J, he doesn't have the defense that Mike had. Okay. He doesn't have the defense. The one thing about Doxy, I guess you could say about that, again, he's part of that
The high
evolution.
flying and scoring and
Part of an evolution when things were changing. That's why you
right.
got to be in the media, what we see about Mike, right? Mike is he's a made up type guy to a large degree, larger than you think. Kind of like unbelievable stories. And a lot of this stuff about Mike, is hyped up, and a lot of it is through the media, the way the media kind of protected him. Okay. And some of the things he did do and did not do, as Mr. Brown would allude to, for the community. He's not going to be as active in the Black sphere, right? And community work. He might gonna say, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna let y'all handle that. I'm gonna go out here and make my, I'm gonna go out here and make my money, right?" So you want to see him put his career on the line, such as what
I'd like to remind you.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would do.
I'd like to remind you now. Doc came to the league after playing 4 or 5 years in the ABA, and you didn't
Right.
catch him you didn't catch him when he was youthful. There's another guy I had on a footnote on that I was gonna put in was Connie Hawkins.
See, he would be to me. Didn't he kind of when he the pre Dr. J?
Somewhat
Connie
of a son.
Hawkins. I wouldn't say he was a Dr. J, but you got to understand this. He came in the league at 29 years old. Think about that. He was 29 when he came in the league and won Rookie of the Year with Phoenix. He was doing everybody. They couldn't. They couldn't understand him. He had the finger roll. He'd go to the hoop and you throw the ball and he'd catch it with one hand and dunk.
Right, had the big mitts, right? He had the big hand.
Yeah. So I tell you, I have a list of guys that I toiled over, and I toiled simply from the perspective of here we are today, and you had to ride the back of somebody to get us here today. Now we can turn a blind eye and say, well, that happened back then. They can't play today. You don't know that. So what I did, like I said, I compiled my list. I had 8 or 9 things that I looked at, and that's how I started making my selections.
Yeah, and look, all respect to everybody's list. I mean, there's reasons behind it, stories behind it, perspectives, and that's why we're doing this. Because with one thing that stuck with me too is that when you mentioned Kareem and how he chose not to play at the Olympics and Wilt Chamberlain. So that's a gold medal right there that you could say check mark. You know what I'm saying? When they say the other players have Olympic rings and others don't, you know what I'm saying? Look at the reason behind that. Like, so when you say, oh, this guy, I'm gonna pick this guy because he went to the Olympics 5 times, and this one, he don't have any gold medals. Like, but now when you know the story and the backstory behind it, that puts it into another perspective. So that's good because Kareem already had a lot of accolades. Imagine if he had that one too added to it, and I'm pretty sure they would have won the gold, right?
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 68, I think Russia beat them, but they cheated to beat them.
Yeah. But if you had Kareem out there, it might have been a different story. And Wilt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. but they, like I said, it was some tumultuous times in the country.
Hmm.
You had riots, you had Martin Luther King, you had Stokely Carmichael, you had Malcolm X, you had Eldridge Cleaver, you had Fred Hampton. The country, the intellects, the black intellects, was working to change the country. And you had black athletes who said, well, I'm not participating. Then you had those that say, like Mike Bannon, who played on the Olympic team. He was a good player, but he was a great player. I just, you know, again, what I attempted to do is to look at it from a 8 or 9 things, maybe 10 things that I wanted to look at to see. Okay, then I start writing little. I go in there and look at them and go, okay, this, and I'm telling you, if you look at what I have here, I had to pare down from all of this. So, and it
Understood.
took me a day and a half. So I'm retired, so I can sit here at my computer at home and do this.
Hey, look, like you said earlier, I mean, we're talking about 10 players out of
Yeah.
thousands of players in the history of the sport that we're putting our list together with. So, you can't really go wrong with any list. To me, it does more to bring more awareness to players, certain players. It opens up some more. Uh, I think, like especially like Nard, right from the Nard report. He's a young guy in the sports sphere now, and he does a lot of sports shows. So check him out, the Nard report. But even he can like take what he's hearing tonight, and he can share that with the guys in his generation, and say, hey, maybe we need to take a minute here and go dive and look up the '68 Olympics, and learn from that and get that perspective. So this is
If
this
you
is
look
more
at
than just
players
this,
today,
huh? This is more than just a list.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
if you're looking at players today, you can't just run by Luka because he give it to everybody. Now he a little bit suspect on defense,
A little.
but he give it to everybody. Everybody
Right.
gets it. I don't
Right.
care
So
who
when,
you are. Then we're in this world where sports is relegated to minorities. We look at basketball is for blacks. That's what people are telling you. That's not necessarily true today, because you look where Luca came from. Like him and his brothers, they said, we had to play on courts during the worst time of our country, which was during the Civil War. See, y'all talk about drive-bys. He said we could live with drive-bys. He said, but we'll get bombed by Milosevic. There was ethnic cleansing. So you had to be real, real careful about, where you went and what you did. But through all of that stuff, that noise, all of his brothers, one of his brothers went to the University of Detroit, was a good player. And they come to every game and they sit up there and tell people, you're not gonna mess with our little brother. Like they told the twins, if y'all want to do something, we'll meet you after the game. But him, he's off limits to y'all. He played a different brand of basketball.
and you talking about Joker, right?
Yeah, he plays a
Yeah.
different brand because
Yeah.
he's all over the floor. And you know something else about him? He doesn't get tired. For as big as he is, that's what he was telling our homeboy from Oklahoma City. And I could have went with Shea, but he's young, but he's a hell of a player.
So you want to give him a little more time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's gonna get it.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Give him more time. Let's see which direction he goes.
You select, you're gonna leave somebody off that should be there. And you, like I said, you sent a text saying 10, and I'm thinking, damn. And then you said Tuesday. I'm like, man, that don't give you a lot of time to look up things,
That's all right. We getting this out there. We always can do a part two. We always can do a second look. You know what I'm saying? After further review. So
I don't have a problem I don't have a problem with none of it. Like I said, I
Yep.
didn't know, and I didn't know until you told me 2 minutes before we went on. As I said, well,
Oh,
let me get my paper and try to write down something. I like all those names,
Yeah.
and that's what I like about the sport, or I guess anybody would say about any sport. We can talk about this legitimately and with something we enjoy, something we like doing, and everything is debatable. Everything is, a thought, right? It's engaging, and it presents. You know what? Like Mr. Brown, he's looking at it in 15 different angles, right?
Yep.
And I might look at it in two or three angles, right? But you see the familiarity, right, that we have of all three of us or anybody else that know a smidgen about the sport. We're gonna have several guys that's the same, right, and can make good calls or whatever because they're so good. They're so good. That's why we pay to see these people. That's why we sit on television and look at them, right? How does he do that? Look how he's been blessed. Oh my goodness, right? So it's good. It's good for my spirit. It's good for my soul. It's good entertainment. You
Yeah.
know, to look at it this way because I get tired of seeing those Hawks lose.
Well, and we don't have any Hawks in the top 10 all time. Oh, man. That's interesting.
Oh, God.
Okay. So
you
here we
could
go.
have a Hawk in the top 10.
Yeah, you could have. He played
Who,
upstate. That
Dr. J?
Who? Who?
Wasn't Dr. J a Hawk briefly, or
the old guy. No, they could have drafted him. They
they
could
could
have
have drafted him or something? Okay.
mhm.
The
The
guy you could
original
have
Hawk.
had was Lou Hudson, Sweet Lou.
Oh.
Mhm.
Lou Hudson was
Mm.
tough when he rolled in, and then you had Dan Roundfield. You know,
Yeah, if
see
it
that's
was.
what I'm saying. You looking
I
at me
mean,
like, oh, Sweet Lou in Atlanta. Sweet Lou was tough.
Yeah,
Dan
sweet Lou.
Roundfield was tough. He
now
was he was
did he overlap with Pistol Pete?
yeah,
Lou
I think
Hudson?
so. But Dan Roundfield was a cheaper version of Barkley.
But
More about
Who's our man that led the NBA for the Hawks in offensive rebounding one year?
Dan Roundfield.
No, 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 no. Let's go back. Go back a little bit further. Led the
Okay,
Hawks in led the NBA. Was it the NBA in offensive rebounding one year? A 6'5", 6'6" guy for the Atlanta Hawks.
I think it was
Oh my
Dan
goodness.
Roundfield.
Charles Barkley talked about it one day and said he saw him on the street. So Houston didn't have any money. And,
Really?
and he went back to his room and cried. He gave him $500. Play that Gardner Webb. Gardner Webb. Come on. Come on. I know you know it. Somebody out there listening.
I think you got me right now.
He played at
How
Gardner
long ago was he? What era did he play in?
back in that day when we started talking about after Lou Hudson.
Oh
God,
wow. Okay, so you going back. Ooh,
it'll come to me. Can I look that up? Gardner Webb, basketball. Man, he either led the Hawks or the NBA in offensive rebound. An undersized guy. Right. Yeah. So yeah, well, again, man, that's what make this thing good. It's
yeah.
so many guys.
I'll let
But
you if you can find that. Let me
So
know.
was it Thomas Gardner?
no, he played at Gardner Webb, I think it was back in the day.
I mean, you got. Let's see, Eddie Lee Wilkins. Did he play? Oh no, he played with the Knicks, didn't he? Eddie Lee Wilkins, John Drew, uh,
John Drew was tough.
John
John
Drew.
John Drew was another one. Yeah.
I didn't know Gilmore played at the Gardner Wheel.
Who is that?
Artist Gilmore. I didn't know he played there.
Did
But
he?
that's not. But he
I
wasn't a
know
Hawk.
him from Jacksonville.
Another one who played NBA, played at Jacksonville University before transferring to Gardner Webb. Yeah.
I didn't know that
Yeah, he
Artist.
transferred there. Yeah, he played at Jacksonville too, but
Mr. Brown, what about Artist Gilmore? He was an ABA specialist. The 60+% that he shot from the field. Artist Gilmore, Jacksonville
yeah.
University.
Now, wow, that's taking it. That's taking it there too. But I tell you what, I want to bring up my top 10 again, and then you guys can. I'm just going to explain to you how I had developed mine, and then you guys can you can take it from there. So I'm gonna go from 10 to 1. So I'm counting it down, if you will. So LeBron at 10, Duncan at 9, Hakeem at 8, Bird at 7, Kobe at 6, Magic at 5, Jordan at 4, Wilt at 3, Kareem at 2, Bill Russell at 1.
Bill
Okay,
Russell.
so now
Whoa.
we can now.
Oh, say it
So
again, Mr.
see,
Brown. You said we.
so I was just gonna say that's questionable.
Where's your
How,
question?
how would you put Bill Russell at number 1?
Well, in his era, I mean, we talking 11 championships, right?
His era.
Right.
I agree with you.
And
He wasn't around in
Kareem
that
came
era.
right after. Kareem came right after that era, but Wilt played in that era,
No,
huh?
Kareem came during
Oh,
that
say it
era.
again.
He came during that era. In the 8th
So,
grade, and they was trying to get him to go to either Syracuse, IU. I'm going on the left coast because it's nice and warm out there. And John Wooden came and recruited him. And that's
mhm,
the rest of the story. And remember, freshmen couldn't play varsity ball. So you could only
right.
play 3 years back then. And guess what else? You couldn't dunk. So this is why I
Understood.
tell no, it develops you, but this is where greatness comes from. Because you have to make adjustments to the game. They're trying to level the playing field because Jabbar was Lou Alcindor was so dominant. They said, well, there'll be no more dunking. You can't do that because it's unfair to the rest of the players. What's fair in basketball? You have the rules. You have 2 or 3 guys back in the day, 2 guys on the floor enforcing the rules. So you're going to add some extra rules to make it competitive for other people. Same thing they did to Chamberlain. Well, no, we got to change all these rules so we can make it competitive, and that's where greatness stems from because they
Yep.
changed the rules to allow other people to compete with.
Yep. And that's why I have those 3. I have them 3 in my top 3. Russell, Wilt, and Kareem.
I just thought I'd throw some potash at you.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, how do you guys feel about that? Because I didn't go Jordan 1, which a lot of people, especially in my generation, would be like, "Hey, man," and nothing against E, because I if you have Jordan 1, I don't argue with it. But I just went with that because to me, a lot of the rules, a lot of things were changed because of these big men here when they came along, which eventually made it better for a great smaller player like Jordan or Magic or Kobe or LeBron
They're
down
not
the
small
line.
players.
Well, compared to these big men, right?
Yeah, but I would take Isaiah over Jordan.
Well,
Well, I would take Curry over Isaiah.
oh boy. So what I'm saying, these big centers, like there was a lot of things changed. Like Will, jumping from the free throw line off of missed free throws, and you can't lob the ball in and catch and dunk it. Like all these different rules. And then Russell, I'm sure they had some things in place because he was coming in swatting shots and doing all these different things. So, like, and he actually won as a player and a coach at the same time, right? He actually played and coached.
While you're saying all this, you're not talking about Nate Thurman, are you, that played for the Hawks?
Oh wow, Nate Thurman. That's and again too, just to add his name, he was one of the centers in this era too. So these
Walt
guys
Bellamy,
actually
Walt
had
Bellamy played for the Hawks. Nate Thurman played for the Warriors.
San Francisco, then yeah, he played
Yeah,
for San Francisco.
y'all
Yeah,
had Walt Bellamy.
and that's another big that played in that era with
Walt
Will
played
and
for New
Russell.
York also. Then Walt Bellamy played for New York.
I
Also,
don't
I
think
know
so. I think Walt Bellamy.
I know he went to the Hawks at some point later on. He's played. Let's see, he played in the same era as Wilt
Yeah,
and Russell in the NBA. He played in that same era with them, and then he kind of overlapped into Kareem's era when Kareem joined the NBA in 70, was it 70, 69, 70. After that 69, 70 season, I think Kareem came in the league right when Russell won his last championship. Kareem came in that next year. So he kind of overlapped with Bellamy, Wilt, even though Wilt was now at that probably on the back nine at that point. Then you had Berries and guys like that. So they kind of overlap. But that was a tough era when you talk about big men, and they didn't have. And some people argue, hey, well, there wasn't that many teams back then. But I would look at it like this: in the WNBA, how many teams are there now? Maybe 12, 13 at the most. So it's a small league now, and people say, oh, it's so tough because there's not too many slots available. So for the era back then, I would look at it the same way. I would argue that, like, hey, not too many slots there, so a lot of teams should have the picking of the talent,
well,
which would make
I
it tough.
always say this. I don't ever. Well, we got to look at the T Rump era. But when last time you seen the college close? So you got to look across the landscape. There are thousands of universities with thousands of basketball teams and players. So when the NBA was in its infancy, you had what, 8, 9, maybe 10 teams, 12 people.
Yep.
So it's what, 100 and some odd people with 1,000. So there was the talent pool was rich because you had so many to draw from. So
Yeah. So I mean, you can look at it from that perspective. And then after that, I went with Jordan 4, Magic 5, Kobe Bird, Hakeem, Duncan, and LeBron. So, did any of those any of those guys you would take out of the top 10?
yeah.
How about you, E?
I'm just gonna say that's your top 10.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
just
But
well,
he
I
asked
mean,
me would I remove one. Who would you remove, E?
Give me that again. Give me your top 10 totality.
okay. I'm gonna start from the top now. Bill Russell, Kareem, and Wilt. All right, those are my big three.
I'm not gonna take neither of those three out. No.
Okay, so here's the next three: Jordan, Magic, and Kobe.
I'm not gonna take that out.
Okay, Bird.
Keep going.
All right, so that's 7.
Keep
So
going.
now,
The Bird is debatable.
okay. So I'll just name them then, since you say Bird's debatable. Bird, Hakeem, Tim Duncan, and LeBron.
Bird is debatable on that list right there you gave me.
You would take the other three over Bird?
Who? What three?
Hakeem, Duncan, and LeBron.
I would take him out. He's in your top 10, right?
Right.
Out of your top 10, I would take, if it's somebody to take out, I would take out Larry.
Wow. Explain why.
Oh, that's an easy one. Again,
Who would you replace him with?
Total impact. Who would I replace him with? Again, that's debatable. Let me look on my list.
Yeah.
Who would I replace him with? We got Shaq on there. I would replace. I could easily put Shaq right there. You didn't say Shaq, did you?
I did not. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. 28 and 28, 14. High percentage from the field. More championships. Unstoppable in his era, right? strongest center since
Well,
Kareem and Wilt them, immovable. Yeah, that's debatable right there. Yeah.
how about you, Mr. Brown? Bird Sack.
If I had insert one, take one out, I would take Tim Duncan out and insert Maurice Lucas.
Whoa. So why would you take Duncan out? 5 championships. He won them in the Kobe Shaq era and LeBron era. I'm not gonna say his teams were stacked up or loaded. He had good pieces,
What?
quality pieces, but
He
his
said
team
they
wasn't
wasn't
like
stacked.
yeah.
Yeah, David
I mean,
Robinson. You had him.
right. That's one of the championship, but the other 4, Dave Robinson was I would say Dave Robinson in that second championship, he was more of a at that point he was more of a just I'm gonna say a role player at that point. Not the 99, not the 99 one, but the second one they won. I think he was more of a he was just there to help on defense.
What about Garnett?
Ooh,
That is a name to be mentioned. We had
no,
mentioned that all night.
You know what? Go with Maurice Lucas
okay,
because of evolution. When you look at him in college, he scored 29.9, led the nation, the entire nation in rebounding. Came to the NBA or the scored in the ABA. Then his team, he went to Portland, brought in Bill Walton,
right,
and he wasn't getting that many touches, but you couldn't foul him. You couldn't handle him. He was a man's man
right.
who could score.
When he an enforcer,
You would
That's
not
what you want to call him.
roll up on. You would not roll up on Maurice Lucas.
That's one
You
thing
would
you
not
wouldn't
roll. You would not roll up. You're gonna catch one of these,
Yeah.
and
He
everything
was a nice
else with
guy,
Maurice.
but like he said, you wasn't rolling up on him.
Not Maurice Lucas. Yeah, and you know what? He could bank that thing off the glass 13,
Couldn't he?
15 feet. He'll
Couldn't he?
square up on you.
so that
Hey, you know
so
what?
that kind of reminds you of what Duncan did, right, off the glass.
Yeah,
So
but he was Duncan. I'm gonna tell you, I thought he was soft. I thought he was
He
soft.
was soft,
I seen him get
but
moved.
okay. Let's go back to your
until
Elton
he's
Hayes. Let's go back to your Elton
That's your
Hayes.
team. I'm because there's some holes you can pluck out of my team, like he's talking about Jerry West.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
yeah. I mean, I'm just listening to the reasons because I mean that's what I'm listening to here. That's why I asked you guys because I want to know who else could come in or who else you pull in, pull out. Like so far, I can see where at least 6 out of my 10, I don't think
I'll give
you
you
guys
another
gonna
one
move
that
them
I
out.
would
So
replace him with. You want me to tell you who I replace it with?
who's that?
Moses Malone. People absolutely skip over him. They don't even talk about Moses. But Moses was a beast.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you have him as center or power forward? Same thing with Duncan. Do you have Duncan as center or power forward?
I would move
I got
Mo.
Duncan.
I'm sorry, I'd have Mo as a power forward. I'm sorry, not Mo. Moses.
Yeah, Moses Malone.
Yeah.
You have him more power forward than.
I got Moses at center. I do Moses at a center.
What about Duncan?
Forward, power forward.
So Duncan's actually benefited from being drafted by the Spurs then, because if he was drafted by Boston, like it was supposed to fall, right? If the ping pong balls went with the true odds, he would have been at Boston and Rick Pitino would have had him at center.
Maybe, or Rick would have got fired for putting him at center because he probably wouldn't have won like that.
Well, that too.
I'll say this: if you take some time and go back and YouTube Moses Malone when he came out of high school
Yeah,
and went to
yeah, ABA first.
he was hitting them jumpers and he was scoring. But over the years, people tend to go, okay, we're gonna move him. He was only 6'10". That's the point that most people. He was only 6
with
feet 10.
small hands. With small hands.
But what he could do is catch you down on that baseline. And what do you want from
Where
your
you
power
at?
forward? You want someone that can
25
read.
and 15, 25 and 14, 26 and 14.
Yeah, he'll wear you out.
Yeah.
4 for 4, 4 for 4, 4 for 4.
4-4-4. We're gonna sweep y'all.
4 for 4.
All right. All right. Well, look, we all have our list. Like I said, I like it. I'm interested in just going back through it, sorting them out. I'm gonna type them up, put them out there, and leave it out there for people to comment, debate on.
One quick question right here in a different direction. If you had to take one person off the top 75, who would yours be?
Wow.
Taking Klay Thompson off.
Are you taking him off for what he's been up to lately?
What he had done in 5-6 years.
So let me put it this way: do you think he should have been on the top 75?
It's debatable, but I'm sure about it now. And he's got 4 championships, and he's part of what some people say was the best backcourt ever. But I wouldn't hesitate to take Klay Thompson off. And
What about Damian Lillard?
Who would you put on?
I mean, what about Damian Lillard? Would you take him off instead of Klay?
I would say to take him off and plug in Dominique Wilkins.
Oh, goodness, he is on there, isn't he?
Nope.
I think he made the second cut. Yeah. Dominique is on there. Yeah, I think Dominique is on there.
He's on there. He's in the 75, yes, but he didn't make that top 50.
50. Okay.
Yeah. When that top 50 came out, a lot of people was wondering why he wasn't on that.
Yeah.
But then they added the next 25. He did make that, which
I don't know who I would look at. But I question Klay Thompson on that.
I can throw a couple names out there if you want me to.
Who is that?
That definitely won't come off. Let's just go here. Worthy, Dominique and Lenny Wilkins, Russell Westbrook, Jerry West, Bill Walton, Dwayne Wade, Wes Unseld, Nate Thurman, Isaiah Thomas from Detroit, John Stockton. I think he stays in there. Bill Sharman, Dolph Schayes.
Keep coming up, right?
Bill Russell, Rodman, David Robinson, Oscar Robertson, Willis Reed, Scottie Pippen, Paul Pierce, Bob Pettit, Gary Payton, Chris Paul, Robert Parrish.
Paul Pierce?
No, Chris Paul. Oh yeah, Paul Pierce too. Yeah.
No,
75.
Paul Pierce shouldn't be on anybody's team.
What'd you say now?
Paul Pierce shouldn't be on anybody's team. He was horrible.
So you saying take Paul Pierce out to 75? I'm gonna write his name down. Hold on. All right, Robert Parrish, the Chief, 75. All right.
Yeah.
Olajuwon and O'Neal, Shaq and King, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Earl the Pearl, Reggie Miller, George Mikan, Kevin McHale, Pete Maravich, Moses Malone, Karl Malone, Jerry Lucas, Damian Lillard. I'm put a star by him.
I'll put a star by Dame. Okay.
Kawhi Leonard. I'll pause it for a minute. Ain't nobody saying anything. Okay.
Thomas is not on this team.
He is on there. Isaiah was on the top 50. Isaiah came in on the top 50 when they did the first list. He was the only Piston from his era. The only Piston in his time.
Everybody else on
Like
that I would just kick off summarily. I wouldn't give him a seat at the table, and that's Dave Bean.
he made it, didn't he? He made the top 50, right?
He just
Well, who was that?
Dave Bean.
He
Who
said
was that?
Dave Bean.
Oh,
You don't
Bing
even know him, do
Steele,
you?
Dave Bing Steele.
Some
Huh?
things there with Dave Bean, which and you. I know about Dave Bean. I even know he had a chance to play with
But then
Boston. Huh?
New York, Detroit drafted him out of Syracuse.
Right. And then he get stung in the eye or something. He had an issue with his eye. He
Yeah,
kind of overcame that. Yeah.
yeah.
And then Bill, I think at the end of his career, he decided to go ahead and retire and go into was it the business that he was running? But
Yeah.
I read that Red Auerbach, and this was Larry Bird's first year coming into the league. He wanted Bing to be on that team. So he would have been in there. He would have won that championship if he came to Boston that year. But he chose to go ahead and just retire and move on. He would have had that championship. He would have been on that team.
What about
I don't see nobody else to take off right now. I'm looking at it. You got Garnett, Gervin, Hal Greer, Walt Frazier, Durant, Duncan, Clyde Drexler, the Busher, Anthony Davis, Curry, Billy Cunningham, Dave Cowan, Cousy, Chamberlain. You got Kobe and Bird, Baylor, Rick Barry, Barkley.
Do you question Cunningham?
Let me ask you a question. Why is Tony
I'll
Parker
let you
on
guys
there?
answer that one. Huh?
Why is Tony Parker?
Why is he not on there?
Why is he on there?
Let me see. Did I say Tony Parker?
4 championships, 5 championships.
Tony Parker.
Part of the dynasty, point guard.
Yeah, I don't see his name on the 75 team.
He shouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't see it.
What about Rasheed Wallace as a power forward over Tim Duncan?
No.
I don't see it.
What? What'd you say?
No.
Over Tim Duncan?
Yeah. You said you don't see it.
I don't see it. Over Tim Duncan. He was a bad boy though, but I don't see him over Duncan. Rasheed.
Man, she would handle Tim Duncan. Timmy couldn't handle Rasheed.
I don't know. They played each other in the finals a couple times
Rasheed was 7
when he was with
feet.
Detroit.
Rasheed's a very good player.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's really good.
Almost can't even mention those two in the same breath, though. You know.
I mean, he's really good. I like Rasheed. I like how he made it. He made life tough for a lot of people in the NBA, especially with being able to shoot from the three. I mean, he was one of those guys that really was playing the inside and outside game. He had the inside and outside game.
It would tell you the ball don't lie.
Yeah, that too. He brought us that too. Yeah.
You know what? You think about when you think about
What's that?
Shaq
Versatility.
beat him up. He was trying to post Shaq up. The guy came and said, he said, he said, man, you can't mess with him down there. He said, you might as well just go to the bench and call it a day. He said, no, what you got to do is take him out to La La Land. She said, what? He said, La La Land. You take him out to that 3 and that mid range, and he can't hang. He just can't hang out there.
Hey.
So that's what I can look at some of the games. He first started out, Shaq used to wear him out down in the paint. But then she started going outside.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, even when Rasheed was with Portland, remember when he was with Portland, he was deadly over there too. They had a nice roster in Portland, but he was a mismatch, man, for everybody. Well, like when you bring up Shaq, he gave Shaq fits because of that versatility.
I'm gonna tell you another player that we just sort of ignored. Adrian Dantley.
Oh man, that's a great scorer, especially in Utah days.
Yeah.
When he was with Utah. Yeah.
Notre Dame, and that national power of DeMatha High School.
Yeah, 6'5" could really score it. Yeah, and he scored from the post. So yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
he was
happened.
there.
I want you to look. Also, think of this: DeMatha High School backed out of playing Southwest High School, my high school, because they didn't want to get defeated by somebody in the South.
Wow.
1970, 1979, it's 1978, 1979. They backed out of playing in the tournament of us. Now we kicked St. John's butt from up in that area right there, but the Martha would not play because we had won something like 60 straight games or something.
Now,
Champion.
who did they have? Besides Danley, I'm certain they had a roster.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, players they
Wait
had
a
on
minute.
that team.
You telling me y'all won 60 something games without a loss?
Yeah, yeah. I was on the team that won 40 that won 40 plus games. So
I
actually,
don't mean to be insulting, but who were y'all
and
playing?
that's the good thing about it. That's the good thing about it. We played state champions all over the South, all up in Kentucky, everybody in the South, and of course St. John's, a couple other players, a couple other teams up there.
Mm.
It was the history of my school, right? And people would say we're from the South, but nobody wanted to play after we had won, so many previous. It was a fright, and that's why we were able to go to these schools and do all these basketball clinics around the nation. Uh,
That's a
just
story.
again, it goes back. It goes back to this right here. You know, the media, right? The media, the publicity, the who's supposed to be, right? How society and culture looks at you, right? If you're from the West, or if you're from the South, or if you're from the North, or if you're from here, if you're from New York, you're supposed to be a player. If you're from Cleveland or Detroit, you're supposed to be a superior gangster. Or if you from this area right here, you're just a hooligan, right? So media plays a lot in that. Um, uh, and it always has. It was made up to do that, be it in sport or be it in culture.
I don't know.
Right.
I remember. I remember when we were filling up the Omni in Atlanta. So we was filling up the little Coliseum, 10,000 standing room only. Had to be pushed back, but we started filling up the Omni in Atlanta. Right,
Wow.
high school team. So yeah, phenomenal story. I think that if you look up in Southwest High School, and we were rated as the eighth or ninth, we're in the top 10 history of the best high school teams ever. And I think my team is rated over LeBron's best team ever, and a whole other a lot of people. In
So on
history,
that, so on that team,
uh-huh.
just throw some names out there.
Well, you mentioned one tonight, Sharon Wright, NBA, maybe 6, 7, 8 years. Miles Patrick out of Clemson. Miles Patrick, one of the first legends. Auburn University, parade All American. Terry Fair, who drafted by Indiana, parade All American. Jeff Malone, All American, Southeastern Conference Player of the Year, right here. We had all those guys came out of my high school right there, right? Not a high school in New York, not Chicago, but it's supposed to be unheard of that something like that happened. Uh,
But
such as
you didn't even name the guard that played with Magic.
Norm Nixon. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember all these guys, man. That would come into the gym, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, you're with the Lakers now. You're with the Celtics name? Lewis Linder, Bubba Lewis Linder, who was drafted by the Celtics, who got a
Mm.
trial at Celtics and was cut by John Havlicek, right? I mean, the stories go on and on.
Wow.
One thing when people say, we had the largest high school in the country, over
What
3,000.
year was this? What year?
I could go back if you look up my high school from 1974, 75 on to 80.
Even 90.
In the 90s, you'll see, this kind of history of we played in Africa. We played in Italy.
Hmm.
We toured not only the country, but the world. I had the opportunity to play with Glenn Rivers at BC basketball camp. Glenn Rivers, Derek Harper, probably at least 10 guys that played in the NBA. I've had the opportunity at camps to play with them and made the All-Star team. I didn't never make the first team at BC camps, but I made the third team all camps. And part of that was because of the school I went to, but I could also play too.
Now, you said Glenn Rivers, for those who don't remember, Doc, you're talking about Doc Rivers, right?
Glenn Doc Rivers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Ron Harper, who was
Ron Harper.
He was a beast.
With it. You could see those guys when they were juniors and seniors in high school. You see them at the camp, man. They ran the camps virtually. Everybody, you knew what was happening to those 6'4", 6'5" guys right there. Every camp.
I had Norm Nixon there, didn't you?
Who was that?
Norm Nixon.
Nixon.
Oh, Norm Nixon. Yeah, and Norm Nixon would tell you he was the second or third slowest guy on the team. There was a guy named Joe Everett. That was lightning speed. He wound up playing. Yeah. I don't know if Joe went anywhere, but he went to the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Norm Nixon was probably the second or third slowest guy on the team.
Wow.
Norm Nixon was all state in, I think, baseball, football, of course, basketball. So
and he was drafted by one of the Steelers or somebody drafted him. I think the Steelers drafted him.
Could have. And we had some guys in football but played basketball too. A guy named I can't remember his name. We called him Bobo, but I remember the game. I was playing Centenary, and he went to my high school. He's younger than me, and I saw him do it in practice. But then 2 years later, because I was like 2 years older than him, grabbed the side of the rubber on the backboard, get with his right hand, right. And he got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. That's right. Y'all look with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
2 years younger than me. But just phenomenal athletes, in the middle Georgia area. Yeah. Yeah. Albert Bobo Thomas. Man, if anybody listening to this right here, and you come on and say something about Southwest High School.
Right? Yeah. I can't wait to get some of you guys together too. But yeah, I think Nixon might have been drafted by the Steelers, I believe, if I was reading that correct.
Drafted in football, but just exceptional speed. And again, he was the second or third fastest guy on the state championship team. Walter Daniels, University of Georgia, right? Leading scorer, probably second leading scorer behind Dominique Wilkins ever. I can't remember all the great ones that I had the opportunity to be around and hear these NBA stories. And just watch them. Yeah, but we stayed in camps all summer long.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mr. Brown, you got anything you want to close us out with?
No, I'm sitting here mesmerized.
Oh, you don't have to. You're from
hey, Mr. Brown, you got a track record yourself now.
Know about that
little one.
You got an NBA track record yourself.
I have a little one. I played for some years in Europe, and I still to this day have a letter where it's trying to get me to come and replace Fred Brown with the Seattle Supersonics.
Downtown, Freddie Brown.
And this guy kept. I was thinking to myself, no, that's not what I want to do. I was disheartened when I had a chance to play against Austin Carr. He wasn't tough. He just had one hand, a right hand, but he could shoot. If you get picked, that's it. You're done. But just straight up trying to get you to the hoop, he didn't have that finesse. Go back and look at him.
Yeah. Now he was number one pick for Cleveland or in league.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
I think Austin Carr was.
Okay.
Played for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Announced the games now for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Still, I think.
Yeah.
I think he played with John Shoemate, who
John Shoemate.
he had the career-ending injuries because he had blood clots, so he had to take blood thinners. So banging, he couldn't play anymore.
I had contract offers overseas, but you come from my school where we played, it was NBA of nothing. I still have those contract offers too. I have my CBA. I have my CBA contract. Right?
Oh man.
I have all that stuff right. And my team was the Sarasota Stingers in the CBA, which was affiliate with the Sarasota Stingers in the NBA. They were based in Sarasota, Florida, in the CBA.
In the CBA, okay.
And my affiliate team was the Kansas City Kings, which that's the Sacramento Kings now. But when I went out to the California Summer League, and I averaged, I think, about 14 and 5. Man, my mama was calling me, and I was getting the calls from Switzerland, all over Europe, all over that. No, I ain't going to that. I'm going to the CBA, and I'm going to play. I'm going to NBA. I'm going to be like Norm Nixon. Yeah. But
oh man,
just good experience. Just good experience. Just good experience.
That's awesome, man. A lot of knowledge coming here from you guys, man, and that's why I say I enjoyed talking ball with you all, man. We could do it again, and we can come back with a further review, or we can do it any kind of way I want to. But I'm gonna sit back and marinate on this list.
I like your list, man.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm looking at all three of your lists. I'm coming back. I mean, I'm
Mr. Brown's list. I like Mr. Brown's list.
Yeah. Because I'm gonna do some more Dan Issel, study.
Oh, he could do it.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch some of his games and compare it to some guys that I've seen through the years. And like you said a player comp for him would be Jokic. And I'll say this too. I know a lot of times people will say in arguments especially like on TV, because a lot of conversations are not gonna go like this one. It's more like we're gonna shoot jabs at everybody, and we're gonna put this down to bring this up. But like when people say, "Oh, this guy too slow, he couldn't do this and do that," well, then throughout the history of the game, there's some slower guys that are dominating. Like you mentioned, Luka, right? He's not the fleetest of foot. Joker's not, but they getting the job done. Whatever somebody want to say about Bird during his time, he got the job done. So like, players that move. Matter of fact, there's another guy, Mark Jackson, point guard. He wasn't really the fastest guy out there. He got things done. So it's not necessarily about being the quickest or fastest. It's about how you get to where you want to get on that floor and where you get to your spots and how you think the game and play the game. So, we got to give respect to all these players, man. And another one I want to dive back into is Robertson, because I do kind of regret not having him in my top 10. Oscar Robertson.
No. Can't have any regrets because you made the selection.
But I mean, it's a good one though. I mean, what he's done for through his time, and being a 6'5" guard, he was a big guard at that time. Like he was, kill you from the post,
You need to
Obviously, that's his game.
go back and look at some of his. He went to Crispus Attucks High School in Indianapolis. Left there
Okay.
and went to college. Was
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati,
Right.
and what he did there had people. He was killing people. I'm talking about killing them. And
Yes.
you think about this, the evolution of the games. Used to have 5'10". I remember my guard in high school was like 5'9". He was quick as a BB. But we ran up against this guy that his name was Ralph Simpson, and he was
Yeah.
6'5".
Mm.
And he was fast.
I think he played for the Nuggets also, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ralph played
Coach
for
had to
the
take our
Nuggets.
boy out the game. He said, "You just you can't handle this. You got to come on over here and sit next to me." You know. And we tried to double team this dude.
Yeah.
And it was like I say, we could talk about high school basketball, and I'll tell you, I have played with some great players like the Trap brothers, John and George Trap, uh, Terry Durod. You can just, and I'm gonna tell you, perhaps I used to think he was garbage when I first saw him. With Spencer Haywood.
Mm.
To watch him in high school, I went to. We had this place called Cobo Hall, huh?
In Spencer Haywood from Mississippi, or has had some time in Mississippi.
That's where he's from, and his parents
Right.
sent him to Michigan, namely Detroit, to perhaps one of the best high school coaches in America. Name was Will Robinson, and I went to see him. I went to see Rudy Tomjanovich from Hamtramck
Mm.
High play against Spencer Haywood. I've never seen a basketball game like that ever. He tried to come across the middle and shoot a shot, and Spencer Haywood jumped up in front of the rim with his arm stretched. The ball hit him in the chest, and they were trying to determine whether it was goaltending or not. He had just covered the whole rim. They stopped the game. They was over there talking and back and forth.
Oh man.
Finally, the ball went out of bounds to Tomjanovich's team. Spencer was killing them.
He blocked the shot with his chest.
What I'm telling you is, when you ever see a person that jump as high as they could in front of the rim with their arms out, and you shoot a jumper and it hit him in his chest, they was like goaltending. No, it's not. The coaches was up on the floor and it was back and forth. And I sat there. This is in Cobo Hall where the Pistons used to play. So you had to get there early if you want to get down there on the. I was from the suburbs, so you couldn't be up in Detroit messing around talking about you gonna steal a seat, because everybody knew what schools were playing. So I went over there to the white side, Hamtramck, and got me a good seat. And I was like, man, yeah, I couldn't say anything because they kept thinking, well, what the hell where's he come from? You know, it was one of the best games I'd ever witnessed personally between
Wow.
two Hall of Famers, with Spencer Haywood and Rudy Tomjanovich.
So Rudy's from that area too?
Yeah. He went to the University of Michigan, and Spencer went to the University of Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What year was Dick Vitale coaching in Detroit? He was up there.
70, from 75 onwards. He recruited my cousin to come play for him. They wound up playing for Boston, but he passed away a couple of years ago from cancer. And if you look up on YouTube, Bird will tell you he taught him how to shoot the step back. His name Terry Durod. He could just flat shoot the ball.
I remember that name, Terry Durod. Quick point too. You had mentioned Dan Issel. Do you know that Dan Issel then played no less than 76 games? That's going through 1970 to 1985.
That's
He's talking about
crazy.
durability. 83, 83, 84, 83, 83, 83, 83, 79, 82, 81, 82, 80, 81, 80, 76. And that was his last 2 years, 76,
Yeah.
77. Durability. Durability, man.
So we're not talking about load management.
No, no.
Wow, we're talking about getting it done. Yeah.
Dan could play now if his game was a now game.
Yeah.
Thank goodness to Curry.
It was.
Thank goodness to Curry who made the game what it is.
They had. You know the one constant. You know the one constant in basketball. There's only one constant. You can look at all the shooters, all the other things.
Yeah.
But the funding will never change.
Yes, sir. That's right.
The fundamentals will never change.
Never change.
Reverse pivots,
Never.
crossovers, keeping the ball below your opponent's knees.
What did John Wooden say? Balance. Balance. Balance.
Yeah.
You gotta have balance to do all those things you said right there. Crossover, pivot, get a rebound, pass. You got to have balance.
Yes.
You got to have that. You got to know how to move your feet, man. You got to know how to move your feet.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. All right. Well, I guess we better wrap it up and then we'll get back together.
I'm usually in bed this time of night.
Yeah. But that's all right. We're gonna get back together, man. We can do another list. I'll send you guys something and
all right.
Figure out what kind of list y'all want to do. We'll do it.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Everybody have a good one.
Oh, hey, let's end on this note. Everybody be blessed. God bless you. I'll leave you with 2 words.
I see that. Into you. Love you.
No. Sadura Sanders. Have a good night.
Oh, all right.
All right. Take care now.
All right.
Be safe.
All right. Be safe.
Good night.